The laughter hit her like a slap. Chairs scraped, whispers turned into snickers, and then, crack. The metal legs bent, and 18-year-old Emma Collins hit the cafeteria floor. Her tray clattered, spaghetti splattered across her sweater, and the room erupted. Phones came out. Someone shouted, "Guess the chair couldn't handle it." She froze, eyes stinging, throat locked. Then, through the noise, a deep voice cut in. "Guess I'll test it next," he said. Every head turned. A man in a work uniform, broad-shouldered, early 30s, picked up the broken chair, set it upright, and sat down beside her. "Looks fine to me," he added, offering her a napkin and a quiet smile that silenced half the room. For a second, nobody moved. The cafeteria air was thick with laughter that died too slow. Emma sat frozen, her face burning red, palms trembling as tomato sauce dripped from her sleeve. The man's calm voice cut through again. "You okay?" She blinked up at him. He had oil stains on his uniform, a maintenance badge clipped to his chest. Daniel Carter, facility tech. His gray-blue eyes didn't hold pity, just concern. Emma managed to whisper, "I'm fine." He frowned lightly. "You sure? That looked like a hard fall." A few students whispered from the back. "Why's the janitor helping her?" "Maybe he likes them big." Daniel turned his head sharply. "You got something to say?" Silence. Just the hum of the vending machine. He crouched down, picking up the twisted metal frame of the chair. One leg was bent like it had been weakened on purpose. His eyes narrowed. This didn't break by accident. Emma's lips parted, realization dawning. Someone must have done it. Someone who wanted a laugh. He stood, brushing off his hands. Whoever thought this was funny needs to rethink what kind of person they are. His voice was steady, not loud, but carried enough weight that even the boldest kid looked away. Emma tried to help gather her things, but her ankle buckled slightly when she stood. Daniel was there instantly, catching her before she hit the ground again. "Easy. Sit down." Her voice cracked. "I'm fine, really." "Sit," he repeated gently but firmly. "Trust me, I've fixed worse." He guided her to a nearby bench and grabbed an ice pack from the teacher's lounge fridge. Students were still pretending not to watch. Emma's eyes were glassy, embarrassed beyond words. "Why would you do that?" she whispered when he knelt to press the ice pack on her ankle. "Because you deserve better than what they just gave you." That answer hit her harder than the fall. No one had ever said that to her before, not at school, not even at home. She blinked away tears. "You don't even know me." He gave a faint smile. "I don't have to. Decency doesn't need an introduction." Someone at the far table scoffed, trying to revive the laughter. Daniel shot them a look, so sharp it sliced the tension in half. "Grow up," he said flatly. "You'll be glad you did someday." Emma lowered her gaze, but her heart was thudding. Not from humiliation anymore, but something else. Something she hadn't felt in a long time. Worth. When the bell rang and everyone shuffled out, Daniel stood, cleaned up the mess like it was his own, and turned to her before leaving. "You get that ankle checked. And hey, next time, don't let anyone make you feel small. You're stronger than you think." She didn't answer. She couldn't. But when he walked away, leaving behind a cafeteria full of broken laughter and a single repaired chair, Emma realized something she'd never noticed before. Sometimes kindness doesn't roar. Sometimes it just sits beside you quietly until the world stops laughing. The next morning, the cafeteria felt different. The same walls, same smell of reheated pizza. But the laughter was quieter, eyes softer when Emma walked through the doors. Still, she kept her head low. She could almost hear yesterday echoing in her mind. Guess the chair couldn't handle it. She found a corner seat and opened her lunch. A peanut butter sandwich and an apple. Same as always. But before she could take a bite, a familiar voice came from behind. "Didn't expect to see you back here so soon," Daniel said, holding a wrench in one hand and a coffee in the other. His uniform sleeves were rolled up, revealing forearms scarred but steady. Emma looked up, caught between embarrassment and surprise. "You again?" He smiled. "Maintenance never ends. Thought I'd make sure no more chairs were booby-trapped today." She laughed quietly, an unfamiliar sound, almost hesitant. "You really think someone did it on purpose?" "I don't think," he said, sitting on the chair opposite hers. "I know. Bent leg, loosened bolts. It wasn't an accident. Kids can be cruel when they see someone different." Her gaze dropped to her tray. "Yeah, I'm pretty used to that." Daniel leaned back, studying her face. "You shouldn't be. You're 18, right?" She nodded slowly. "My daughter's 14, he said. "She went through something similar. Called me crying one night because some kids made fun of her drawings. Said she wasn't good enough. You know what I told her?" Emma shook her head. "I told her the world's full of people who laugh at things they don't understand. But if you quit because of them, you're handing them the ending they want. You fight, you stay kind. That's how you win." Emma blinked, unsure why those words felt like a promise she'd never made to herself before. "You really believe kindness wins?" He shrugged. "Eventually. Maybe not right away, but it always comes back around." The bell rang again, and students began to pour in. A few stared, whispering, "Is she talking to the janitor again?" But this time, Daniel didn't even glance their way. He stood up and said, "Ignore the noise. They'll get bored. Bullies always do." Before walking off, he added, "You ever need a place to breathe? I'm usually fixing something down in the gym basement. Doors open." That afternoon, Emma found herself walking to the gym, half out of curiosity, half out of courage. The sound of tools clicking echoed through the concrete hallway. Daniel was crouched under an old treadmill, sweat beading on his neck. "You weren't kidding," she said, stepping in. "You really fix everything." He looked up and grinned. "Except vending machines. Those things are cursed." She laughed again, more freely this time. He handed her a spare rag. "Make yourself useful," he said teasingly. So she did. For the next hour, she helped him tighten bolts, test circuits, and sweep dust from corners. She wasn't good at it, but Daniel never made her feel like she had to be. He treated her like an equal. "Why do you do this?" she asked as they packed up. "You don't even get paid enough to care this much." He paused, wiping his hands on a towel. "Because once, someone cared when I didn't deserve it. Back when I was a mess after my wife passed. Some stranger helped me get my first job again. I promised I'd pass it forward someday." Her voice softened. "You keep that promise a lot, don't you?" He smiled faintly. "Not enough, but I try." That night, Emma couldn't sleep. The sound of his steady, kind voice replayed in her head. The way he looked at her, not like she was broken or a joke, but like she was a person. No one had ever done that. A week later, during lunch, the same group of girls who'd laughed at her approached her table. One of them, Ava, the ringleader, folded her arms and smirked. "So you and the janitor friends now? That's your thing?" Emma felt her pulse quicken. Every instinct told her to stay quiet. But then Daniel's words echoed in her mind. "Don't hand them the ending they want." She straightened. He's not a janitor. He's a maintenance tech who fixes more in a day than you've ever built in your life. The girls blinked, stunned by her tone. Ava scoffed. Whatever. Guess you finally found someone desperate enough to talk to you. Before Emma could answer, a small voice from behind spoke up. It was Daniel's daughter, Lily, standing at the door with her sketchbook. "Hey," Lily said, looking right at Ava. "My dad says people who tear others down do it because they're scared of what they'll never have. The guts to be kind." The cafeteria went silent. Ava looked around, cheeks flushing. "Whatever," she muttered, storming off. Emma turned to Lily. "You didn't have to do that." Lily grinned. "Sure I did. You're my friend now." Daniel showed up moments later, confused but smiling when he saw Emma laughing for the first time, really laughing. "Everything okay here?" he asked. Emma nodded. Better than okay. Later that day, Emma walked outside into the golden sunset, her breath visible in the cold air. For the first time in years, she didn't rush home to hide. She stopped by the bench where Daniel had first handed her that napkin. It was just a small act of kindness. But in her world, where laughter once broke her, it had rebuilt something far more important. Her strength. She whispered to herself, "Kindness wins, eventually." And as the last bell rang behind her, she smiled, knowing that from that day on, she would never sit alone again. 3 months later, Emma stood at the same school entrance, clutching a folder to her chest. She wasn't a student anymore. Graduation had passed. But the principal had invited her back to speak at a student assembly about confidence and self-worth. The idea terrified her. Yet deep down, she knew she had to do it. The hallway buzzed with familiar voices. Same lockers, same tiled floors. But something about her walk was different now. Shoulders straight, chin lifted. She wasn't hiding behind baggy sweaters anymore. Her clothes fit the way confidence fits, naturally. In the crowd, she caught sight of Daniel fixing a ceiling vent, his tool belt slung low and his sleeves rolled up. When he saw her, his face softened with that same calm warmth that had steadied her months ago. "Didn't think I'd see you back here," he said, wiping his hands. "Neither did I," she smiled. "But I figured, if kindness started here, maybe it should end here too." He grinned. "Kindness doesn't end, Emma. It just changes people." Her stomach fluttered as the announcement echoed. "Everyone to the auditorium, please." The auditorium lights were blinding. A few teachers clapped as Emma walked onto the stage. Whispers rippled through the students. Some recognized her, the chair girl. Others had only heard the story. She took a deep breath and faced them all. "Some of you laughed when my chair broke that day," she began softly, voice steady but full of emotion. "And honestly, I don't blame you. It's easier to laugh at someone than to see them." The room stilled. A few faces turned red. Even Ava, the ringleader, looked down at her shoes. "But one person didn't laugh," Emma continued. "He picked up the chair, sat beside me, and reminded me that kindness still exists. That maybe the world isn't as cruel as I thought." Her eyes met Daniel's at the back of the room. He stood in the shadows, arms crossed, eyes glinting with quiet pride. "I learned something that day," she said. "Kindness isn't weakness. It's rebellion. It's standing up when others sit down. It's saying, 'You matter,' when the world says otherwise." Her voice trembled, but she didn't stop. "So, if you ever see someone fall, whether it's from a broken chair or a broken heart, don't look away. Sit beside them. Because sometimes, that's all it takes to change a life." applause started slowly, then grew until the entire room was on its feet. Even the teachers had tears in their eyes. Emma exhaled, overwhelmed but smiling. She stepped off stage, heart racing, and right there at the bottom of the steps stood Daniel and his daughter, Lily, holding a small drawing. Lily grinned. "We made this for you." Emma unfolded the paper and froze. It was a colored sketch. Lily had drawn the cafeteria scene. Emma sitting on the floor, Daniel beside her, the crowd blurred behind them. But in Lily's version, there was light glowing around both of them, like warmth pushing back the shadows. Emma's eyes misted. "It's beautiful." Lily shrugged. "Dad says good things deserve to be remembered." Daniel smiled. "Told you kindness comes back around." Emma looked at him, really looked, and said softly, "You didn't just fix that chair. You fixed something in me." He nodded, voice low. "You did the same for yourself, Emma. I just handed you the first tool." As the crowd slowly left the auditorium, Ava approached. Her voice shook. "Hey, I'm sorry. For everything." Emma studied her for a long moment, then smiled. "Thank you. Just make sure no one else ever feels what I did that day." Ava nodded, tears forming. "I will." When they stepped outside, the sun was dipping low, painting the campus gold. Daniel adjusted his cap. "So, what's next for you?" Emma took a deep breath, watching the light hit the empty benches. "College. Art school, actually. Lily inspired me." Lily beamed. "Really?" "Really," Emma said, smiling warmly. "I want to draw moments that change people." Daniel looked proud, like watching his own daughter grow wings. "Then you already know how to do it." They walked together toward the parking lot. Three people connected not by blood, but by something stronger. Kindness had stitched their broken pieces into something unshakable. As they reached the doors, Emma paused, looking back at the building one last time. The memory of that cruel laughter no longer hurt. It had become proof of how far she'd come. She whispered, almost to herself, "Funny how one act can rewrite your whole story." Daniel heard her and smiled. "That's the thing about kindness," he said. "It doesn't just rewrite, it redeems." And with that, they stepped into the fading light together, leaving behind the echoes of cruelty and carrying forward the kind of strength the world never sees coming.